everyone, it's Colleen here with yarnwars.com, and we have our Twinkle Starlight Granny Square that we're going to go over today. I have already started by creating my magic circle. If you need help with this, I have a video within the pattern for the magic circle, and then what I've done is I made a magic circle, I chained 3, and then I worked 15 double crochets into that magic circle for a total of 16, because we will count our chain as a double crochet. So we have closed our circle, and we're going to join at the top of our chain 3 to start. Make sure you're joining at the top of your chain 3. Let me see if I can get this a little more focused here. The top of our chain 3 is going to be right here, and maybe I just lost my other loop there. Okay, and we'll just join with a slip. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to chain 3. And that chain 3 will count as a double crochet, and then we will work 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. Okay, the next thing we're going to work is a treble cluster, and this is how you are going to do this. From here we need to build up to make it tall enough for a treble. So we're going to chain 2 after we've worked that 3rd double crochet, chain 2, and then we're going to wrap the yarn around our hook 2 times like we're going to make a treble, and go into that next stitch. Yarn over and draw that yarn back through, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Yarn over again, go back into that same stitch, pull through, yarn over, and pull through 2. We're going to do this one more time. Pull through, and then pull through 2. And you'll have 5 loops left on your hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through your last 2, and you'll have 1 loop on your hook when you're finished. Your treble cluster will look like that. We're then going to chain 1 and double crochet into the next stitch. Now, there you go. Your first cluster. And then we are going to work 2 more double crochets, and we're going to work another treble cluster. So we're going to chain 2, and we are going to yarn over twice around our hook, go into our next stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, go back into that same stitch, pull your yarn through, and yarn over and pull through 2 more, and then again one more time, and then pull through 2. With 5 strands on our hook, we're going to pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. So hopefully that's a more clear understanding. Then we're going to yarn, we're chain 1, and then we'll yarn over and do a double crochet into that next stitch following. So now we have 2 treble clusters made, and we'll make 2 more double crochets, and then chain 2, work our next treble cluster into the next stitch, You'll be whipping these treble clusters out as soon as you get a couple of them down. And then we'll chain one. That was our third treble cluster. We want to do a total of 4 of those. So we'll double crochet 2 more times. 1, 2, and then our last stitch right here, our last stitch is going to be our treble. So chain 2 and work your last treble crochet. And then unless you've totally messed up like I just did, I'm going to redo that completely. Sorry about that. All right. So now we are at the end. We're going to go ahead and chain 1 again on that. And then we are going to join into our second, again, we are counting this first chain, the chain 3 that we made, we're going to count that as our first double crochet. Then we've got a series, a group of 3 double crochets there. So we are going to come in and join into that, what would be considered our second double crochet here. So you want to, after you chain 1 on your cluster, you want to come up here to where your double crochet is and just slip, join right into that double crochet. So here's what you have to start. You've got your 4 clusters. And now what we're going to do is we are going to work 1, 2, 3 chain 3. We're going to work 1 more double crochet into this same stitch. Okay. Get a little more yarn here. Next we are going to chain 1, and then we are going to work into our first corner. This is our first corner. It's going to be on the right side of your cluster. And what we're going to do is we're going to put 3 double crochets. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then you're going to chain 2 and work 3 more double crochets into that same space. Okay, so we got our first corner made. I'm sorry, I know I'm going out of the screen a little bit on this, but hopefully you understand what we're doing here. So we've got our first corner made. Now we're going to chain 1, and we're going to skip that first chain space, and we're going to skip our first double crochet, and we're going to work 2 double crochets into that middle or second double crochet. So work 2 double crochets into that same space or same double crochet. Okay, so we've got 2 double crochets into that middle, and then we are going to chain 1 because we're going to skip this one and we're going to work into our next corner. We're going to do the same thing that we did in the last corner. You're going to work 3 double crochets, then you're going to chain 2 and work 3 more double crochets, all to the right side of your cluster. I'm just going to do these kind of quick here. That was 3 double crochets I just made. We're going to chain 2 and work 3 more double crochets into that same space just before that corner cluster. All right. Now we have 2 corners made. We're going to chain 1, And repeat this around 2 more times. Remember, we're going to go into, there's a set of 3 double crochets here. We want to go into our second with 2 double crochets. And then because we're skipping this one, we're going to go ahead and chain 1 and then work into our next one. And then just complete that same thing around. Remember, repeat that around 1 more time. And I will meet you after I finish this row. Okay, everyone, I am back and we are at the end of our second section here. Actually, our third section. I just completed my 4th corner. So I've worked my last 3 double crochets into that corner. I'm going to want to chain 1. And then I will join into the top of that chain, which is considered my first double crochet. So the top of that beginning chain 3 from the beginning that we made. Just join with a slip. Okay, now our treble crochets for this round are going to be made into the space between each set of 2 double crochets in the middle. So it's not going to be made into a stitch, it's going to be made into the space in between these 2 double crochets on each side. So you'll make a total of 4 treble clusters. I think I said that before, I'm sorry. Your treble cluster will be made in between the spaces of the 2 double crochets on each side in the middle. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by chaining 4. Okay, now what we're going to work our first treble cluster, yarn over twice, and come into the space between this middle set of 2 double crochets. And just work your cluster once, and then we're going to twice, and then 3 times. Oops, we got 5 left on the hook, and we're come through 2, come through 2, come through 2, and come through 2. So we made our first treble cluster. We're going to yarn over. We're going to work a double crochet into that first chain space. Okay, and then we're going to work a double crochet into the next 3 double crochets. If you move your stitch over a little bit to the right in that chain space, you're going to see that there is immediately following, there is another double crochet. So we are going to work into that double crochet, this one, and then we're going to work our corner. So work 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and 3 double crochet. Now into our corner, we're going to work 2 double crochet, then chain 2, and then 2 more double crochet, all within the same corner space. So work 1, 2, chain 2, and then work 2 more. And then if you push your stitches over just a little bit, you may not even have to, you're going to see in that same corner space, just following these stitches, you're going to see there's another double crochet stitch. So we're going to work 1, 2, 3 double crochets into the stitches. Oops, I got a little tight there with my okay. And then we come up to another chain space. We'll work 1 double crochet into that chain space. Okay, we have now our 2 double crochets in the middle of this side. And we are going to skip that double crochet and we're going to work into the space. We're going to chain 2 and work our next treble cluster into the space between those next two double crochets. Okay, then we're going to chain one, make a double crochet into that next space, and then again into the next 3 double crochets, and that brings us to our next corner. So in this next corner, again, we are going to work 2 doubles, and then we're going to chain 2. I'm sorry if this is a little quick here. And then we're going to work 2 more doubles. And then remember, in that same space, you're going to see that double crochet right there, right coming out of the corner. And we're going to double crochet again, 1, 2, 3 double crochets following into the space, and then we'll chain 2, and then we'll work again a treble cluster into the space between those 2, and then you're going to repeat that around till you get to this end right here. Continue with that pattern. When we get to this end, we are going to join to the top of our chain 4. So go ahead and continue the pattern that we've been working. Continue that around, and I'll meet you when we get to the end at our join. We have now reached the end of our row, and this is not your typical granny square, as it is not completely square with all these little textures, but here we are at our end, and we're going to go ahead and attach join to the top of our chain 4. So you see 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to join into this chain right up here. And like I said, this is not your typical. If you want to leave your granny square like this, you're going to have kind of a textured look. This would be a beautiful scarf if you piece together some granny squares. Be very pretty scarf, or some kind of decorative, blanket, whatever the case. You wouldn't have any problem attaching it, but if you prefer to have it squared off on all sides, at this point all you need to do is come around, just chain 3, starting a new row, and just go ahead and work a double crochet into each stitch around. When you get to your corner, work 2 double crochets, chain 2, and work 2 more double crochets. Just continue around with double crochets around. Just work into your spaces that have your treble crochet, work 1 double crochet, and then work 1 double crochet right over this. And then when you work a double crochet into this next one here, that's all going to pull together, and it'll make it look seamless around. It'll add a nice little border, add about an inch to the size of your total granny square. So you can either do that, or if you like the way it kind of bobbles out here a little bit, you can also just finish it off with a row of slip stitches around your complete project, doing the same thing as you would in this space, just working your slip stitch and then coming over, working a slip stitch and closing it all off here, and you end up with something that's similar to this. These are all my slip stitches around in this pretty little border here. It gives still a little bit of a bump here, but it's not as much of a bump as if you leave it by itself. So you can either work, like I said, a row of double crochets to give yourself a straight edge around your border, or you can have your slip stitch border, which also looks very pretty. So I hope you've enjoyed this pattern, and again, this is called the Twinkle Starlight Granny Square. I created this, and I would love for you to come visit us we have a group page on Facebook. You can visit us at www.facebook.com/groups/yarnwars, or you can stop by yarnwars.com for other great free patterns. And please subscribe. Have a great day, everyone.